After they got married, they both moved to a big city. There, Bisola found herself overwhelmed by its fast-paced lifestyle. She became increasingly discontented, her frustrations manifesting in her interactions with her husband and his family. Bisola became a total stranger to her husband and family. Once upon a time, there lived a widow named Folake. She had lost her husband years ago. Folake was strong, raising her 7 children on her own. She gave birth to 2 beautiful girls and 5 adorable boys. Her 5 sons were a lively bunch, each with their unique talents and personality. They helped with farm works and contributed to the household chores. Despite the absence of their father, they all lived in harmony and then built an unbreakable bond. Folake's 2 older daughters were like guiding lights in the family. The family worked hard to make ends meet, relying on their mother's akara business for sustenance. Every morning before the sun kissed the sky, Folake would rise from her humble bed. Whilst her children were still sleeping, she would set to work, preparing her signature akara. The tantalizing aroma of Folake's akara would waft through the streets, drawing people to her store. The sizzle of the hot oil, music to her ears, from morning till midday, and then in the evenings, Folake stood by her store. Her tired hands never delayed as she served customers with a beautiful smile and a kind word. Though the money she earned was meager, it was enough to put food on their table and shoes on her children's feet. Her sons and daughters witnessed their mother's tireless efforts and were filled with admiration and gratitude. They would often join her at the store, lending a hand wherever they could. Though they faced hardship, their akara was preferred amongst the others in the village, as it was sought after by travelers and villagers alike. People would come not only for the delicious treat but also for the warmth and kindness that radiated from Folake's heart. And so, day after day, Folake continued to sell her akara. The strength with which she did her business was fueled by the love she held for her children. Though the road was long and filled with obstacles, she marched forward with courage, knowing that as long as she had her children, she could weather any storm that came her way. Time went on and Folake's daughters got admitted into a prestigious university in the northern part of their country, leaving their mother and brothers behind in the village to pursue their dreams. Their brothers, who had grown into fine young men, were eager to contribute to their family's livelihood. They watched intently as their mother expertly fried batch after batch of akara, memorizing her every move with determination in their eyes, and one by one they lended a hand in the flourishing akara business. With their mother's forbearing guidance, they learned the skill of frying, mastering the delicate balance of heat and timing required to achieve the perfect golden brown of their mother's special akara. The eldest son took charge of washing and grinding the beans, while her second son perfected the shaping of the akara balls, and their younger brothers eagerly assisted wherever they could. Whether it was tending to the fire, cleaning utensils, or serving customers, they all formed a formidable team, all eager to support their beloved mother. With her children by her side, Folake's burden became lighter, her heart swelling with pride as she watched them work together with passion. People were happy to patronize them. They commended her for the things her sons were able to do because of how they were raised. Eventually, the business kept on flourishing. Folake's sons became known as skilled akara fryers, and so they continued to help their mother in the akara business. Their bond grew stronger with every shared challenge and progress that came their way. They found strength in their unity as their mother made sure she brought them up with love for one another. Time advanced and Folake's sons grew and matured. They all left the village to pursue higher education at the university. One by one, they bid farewell to their beloved mother, promising to return home whenever they could. Folake, with pride and a little sadness, watched as her sons began their new journey just like their sisters. Left alone in the village, she carried on with her akara business. She felt her children's absence, but their love and support was never far from her. As she continued to fry her akara, the village changed around her. Faces coming and going, but Folake remained a constant presence. Her store a favorite spot to all who passed by. Though the days were long and the nights lonely, they thought of memories of her children and the knowledge that they were out in the world, making their mark just as she had always hoped they would, gave her strength. And though her children were far away, their love remained a guiding light. Folake knew that no matter where life took them, they would always be bound together by the unbreakable bonds of family and love. One day, as Folake continued her daily routine, a kind-hearted girl named Bisola from the village sensed Folake's need for assistance, and so she offered her help without hesitation. Each morning, Bisola would arrive at Folake's house and set to work, fetching water from the well, washing clothes and dishes, and even lending a hand in preparing the beans for the akara. Together they worked side by side, laughing so hard as they shared stories and exchanged heartfelt conversations. Bisola's youthful energy infused new life into Folake's daily routine. As days went by, a deep bond formed between Folake and Bisola. They became more than companions. They became confidants and leaned on each other for support and encouragement through the trials and tribulations of life. As the seasons cycled through the years, Folake's children pursued their studies diligently at the university, each one striving to carve out a brighter future for themselves. And with the passage of time came moments of great joy and pride, as one by one her children donned their caps and gowns, graduating with honors and embarking on a new journey beyond the borders of the village. The first to graduate was Fusayo, the eldest of Folake's daughters, whose passion for teaching led her to pursue a degree in education. With a heart filled with joy and ambition, Fusayo set off for the streets of a big city where opportunities awaited. In the city, Fusayo found herself in a tertiary institute lecturing. Her knowledge and skills in teaching opened doors to new opportunities and connections. Fusayo worked tirelessly, and despite the distance that separated her from her mother and siblings, they remained a constant presence in her life. Through letters and phone calls, they shared their progress and challenges. As the years rolled by, more of Folake's children followed in Fusayo's footsteps, each one graduating from the university and venturing out into the world to pursue their passions. They scattered across the country, each one forging their own path while carrying with them the love and lessons of their upbringing. They each grew and prospered, building their own families and futures in the cities they now called home. One by one, they found love, exchanged vows and welcomed new additions to the family. Fusayo and Pelumi, Folake's beloved daughters, found happiness in the arms of the kind-hearted men who cherished and adored them. Amidst the joyous celebrations and new beginnings, Ayomide, the youngest son of the family, was yet to be married, and so the mother Folake shared her admiration for Bisola, the kind-hearted girl who had become an indispensable part of her life. Ayomide listened intently, gratified for Bisola's presence and the selfless kindness she had shown to his mother over the years. He nodded as his mother spoke, understanding the depth of her words and the love that inspired them. Folake expressed her desire for Ayomide to take Bisola's hand in marriage, recommending her as a worthy companion who had earned her place in their family's story. Ayomide approached Bisola with a proposal, asking for her hand in marriage. With a mixed feeling of joy and emotion, Bisola accepted, and they got married. After they got married, they both moved to a big city. There, Bisola found herself overwhelmed by its fast-paced lifestyle. She became increasingly discontented, her frustrations manifesting in her interactions with her husband and his family. Bisola became a total stranger to her husband and family. As time passed, she bore him two lovely children. Bisola disrespected everyone in her husband's family, including her mother-in-law. She tried to separate her husband from his family, but the value instilled in him by his mother could not let her, no matter how hard she tried. The bond he shared with his siblings grew stronger. With time, she neglected her home, performing no wifely and motherly duties to her husband and children. Ayomide's kitchen grew dust as she stopped cooking, leaving Ayomide and his children hungry for both nourishment and affection. When Folake, Ayomide's mother, visited their home, she was met with derision and disregard from Bisola. Rather than extending the hospitality and respect befitting a family member, Bisola treated her with contempt, hurling hurtful words and demeaning insults on her. As Folake witnessed the contrasting treatment she received from the spouses of her other children compared to Bisola's demeanor, her heart ached with sorrow and confusion. The love and respect showered upon her by her other daughters-in-law and sons-in-law stood in stark contrast to the disdain and disrespect emanating from Bisola. Her once happy home, filled with laughter and warmth, now felt cold and empty in Bisola's presence. She felt betrayed with the realization that the person she thought she knew had transformed into someone unrecognizable, a chameleon hiding behind a false display and cruelty. While the spouses of her other children treated her like a queen, honoring her with kindness and reverence and ensuring the family bond stayed through, Bisola treated her with no regard whatsoever, while threatening the family bond. As time continued its relentless march forward, Ayomide and Bisola's marriage reached its breaking point as Bisola made the decision to leave, severing ties with her husband and family in pursuit of a new life with another man in the city. The news of Bisola's departure sent shockwaves through the family, leaving Ayomide and family reeling with confusion and heartache. Left to pick up the pieces of their shattered lives, they grappled with the sudden absence of the woman who had once been a part of their lives. For Ayomide, the pain of betrayal cut deep, leaving him questioning the very foundation of the life he had built with Bisola. Despite his effort to salvage their marriage, he found himself abandoned and alone, grappling with feelings of abandonment and loss. As for their children, the void left by their mother's departure was palpable, their young hearts struggling to make sense of the upheaval that had turned their lives upside down. They longed for the comfort and security of a mother's love, but instead found themselves thrust into a world of uncertainty and pain. Meanwhile, Bisola's departure cast a shadow of sadness over Folake and the rest of the family. Though they had witnessed the turmoil within Ayomide and Bisola's marriage, the news of her abandonment still came as a shock, leaving them shaken and saddened by the fractured bonds of the family. In the aftermath of Bisola's departure, Ayomide and his children leaned on their extended family for support and were comforted by the love and strength they shared as a family. Despite the pain of his loss, Ayomide remained focused in his determination to rebuild his life and that of his children and move forward. And with support from his mother and siblings, he raised his children to become people of great characters. Years passed, and Bisola, who had toured the world around her and had seen there is no gain in promiscuity, returned home and sought for the forgiveness of the woman whom she had betrayed and that of her husband Ayomide, their children and other family members whom she had stepped on their toes, promising to uphold the value of the family in which she was married into. The family, with a feeling of a renewed hope, forgave and accepted her back into the family. Folake's children all had each other a family bond together by the ties of blood, love, and firm loyalty.